Whiskey Wraiths. The first poor black screen. Low humming static, faint sound of ice. Clinking in a glass. They say the devil's favorite drink isn't fire, it's whiskey, because it burns twice. Once going down, and once when it takes your soul. A neon-lit college town, bar signs flicker. The streets are alive with drunken laughter, bass-heavy music, and flashing police lights in the distance. Everything feels a little too loud, a little too alive, like the whole town is drunk on something more than alcohol. Redford nights, welcome to Redford. A place where every night is a party, and every dawn feels like a hangover you'll never shake. Students flood the bars like moths to a flame. Cheap beer, loud music, bad decisions. But something new is on tap tonight. Something older than sin itself. The Iron Tap, a worn-down bar with a glowing sign. Its door creaks open as groups of students stumble inside, drawn like flies. The bartender, a tall man with sunken eyes and cracked hands, lines up bottles of a deep, amber whiskey, each labeled Crimson Barrel. The logo looks more like a sigil than a brand mark. 2. Enter Liam. Liam sits alone at the far end of the bar, head down, empty shot glasses in front of him. He's 20, tired, with dark circles under his eyes, and a grief that clings to him like smoke. That's Liam Hayes, sophomore, 20 years old, already drowning. Not in whiskey, not yet, but in grief. Last year, his brother died in a car accident just outside this very bar. Liam swore he'd never drink again. Promises are easy. Pain is heavy. Ava, his best friend, approaches. She's the only brightness in this place, pulling her hair into a messy bun, eyes sharp, always watching out for him. Ava, teasing, sitting beside him. You're gonna drink yourself into a hole. Hayes, Liam low, bitter. Maybe that's the point. She's the tether keeping him from floating away, but even the strongest rope can snap when the current's this strong. 3. The first pour, the bartender sets down a bottle of Crimson Barrel whiskey. The glass catches the neon light wrong, flickering like a flame in water. Every student in the bar seems to look at it all at once, like it's calling them. That bottle, it didn't just arrive, it woke up. Bartender low, gravelly voice, new special, first one's free, puts hair on your chest. Liam shakes his head, but Ava frowns, sensing something is off. Still, curiosity wins. Liam takes the glass. The whiskey swirls too thickly, like it's alive. They say whiskey's just fermented grain and time. But this is rage distilled. Hunger bottled. Something that remembers blood, the way you remember your first kiss. Liam downs the shot. The screen flickers, static glitches. A whisper rides over the sound of the bar noise. Drink, and you're mine. For the change, the bar blurs, music distorts. Liam's pupils dilate unnaturally. His breath fogs in the warm air. A shadow slithers up his spine, unseen but heavy, and just like that, it finds a new home. Not in his stomach, not in his blood. Deeper, somewhere no hangover ever reaches. Liam feels a rush. Adrenaline, euphoria. Then a deep, gnawing hunger. He grabs another glass, hands shaking but craving more. Around him, other students are drinking the same whiskey. Laughter gets sharper, eyes get darker, fists start clenching. A fight is about to spark from nothing. Ava concerned. Liam, you okay? You don't look right. I feel alive. Alive. That's the first lie the whiskey tells you. The second, that you're the one drinking it. But it's the other way around. And it's just taken its first sip. 5. The legend. Old black and white photos of a burnt distillery. A wooden barrel leaking dark liquid. Townsfolk screaming in 1800 streets. The screen glitches with static between images. See, Crimson Barrel isn't brewed here. It's brewed nowhere you'll find on a map. It started in New Orleans, 1823, when a distiller made a deal with something older than the church and meaner than hell, a famine demon, bound in oak and soaked in blood. Every batch bottled since is a promise that someone, somewhere, will lose themselves for one more drink. Back in the bar, a drunk student starts screaming at another. Chairs scrape, bottles shatter. The bartender just smiles. 6. A whisper to loud Redford didn't know it yet, but they weren't drinking whiskey tonight. They were drinking centuries of hunger, fury, and thirst for flesh, and it was already too late to spit it out. Liam hears the whisper again, this time clearer. It's inside his skull, a voice that feels like nails under his skin. One more, Liam. Just one more. You'll never hurt again. You'll never cry again. Just drink. Liam reaches for another shot, but Ava grabs his hand. Ava firm. Stop, please. Something's wrong. Liam looks at her, torn, but his hand trembles violently, knuckles white. And that's how it begins. One sip for courage. One sip for numbness. Then the whiskey stops asking. It starts owning. Camera pans slowly across the bar, every face slack, glowing eyes under flickering neon. A dozen whispers hum in unison. The Wraith is awake. The Wraith is thirsty. And Redford is about to learn that some spirits aren't poured. They pour themselves straight into you. Whiskey's Wraith, Act 2. Whiskey Wraiths, Act 2. Drunk on blood, open on black screen. Sound of a bottle uncorking. Followed by a faint, demonic laugh. They thought they were chasing a buzz. But they were chasing something that has been hunting men since the first barrel was sealed with blood. The iron tap is chaos. The bar floor is littered with shattered glass, overturned stools, and half-empty bottles glowing like molten amber under the neon lights. Something wrong hangs in the air, heavier than alcohol, thicker than smoke. The whisper becomes a roar. Liam wasn't the only one to take a sip. No, it spreads like spilled whiskey, crawling from throat to throat until the whole town is drowning. Close-ups of students, their smiles twisted, pupils dilated unnaturally, mouths mumbling words they don't seem to control. Whispers overlap, layered like an unholy choir. The Crimson Barrel bottle is passed around like a relic, every hand shaking but unwilling to let go. Whisper inside their heads, in unison, are saying, "Drink." A girl at the jukebox suddenly slams her head into the machine, bleeding but laughing. The air is thick with tension, every breath turning to a snarl. Ava tries to save Liam. Ava clutches Liam's arm, fear burning through her usual bravado. Ava, urgent, panicked. "Liam, we need to leave. Something's wrong with this place. Look at them, look at you." But once you let the Wraith in, leaving isn't an option. It roots itself in your grief, your rage, your thirst for anything to stop the pain. And Liam was a perfect host. Liam clutches his head, trembling violently. His teeth grit, breath coming out ragged like an animal's. Liam voice layered, not entirely his own. I can't stop. God, Ava, I just need one more, not one, all of it." Liam's eyes flash amber for a moment, veins darkening along his neck. 3. The first kill at the far end of the bar, a drunken frat boy tries to break up a fight. One of the possessed students turns, grabs a jagged bottle, and slashes without hesitation. The boy drops instantly. Blood spraying against the neon sign that flickers to read. Spirits, the word bar glitching out completely. And just like that, the first drop hits the floor. The Wraith doesn't crave whiskey. That's just the bait. What it really wants is blood. And once it tastes it, you'll spill every last drop you have for it. Screams fill the bar. Students scatter, but many don't run. They lunge at each other instead, feral, wild-eyed, tearing into flesh like rabid wolves. For the Wraith shows itself, a shadow grows behind the bar, stretching unnaturally tall, forming the outline of a skeletal figure wrapped in smoke, wearing a charred distiller's apron. Its face is a cracked barrel lid, leaking black sludge where its mouth should be. It doesn't walk among you, it pours through you. The Wraith rides your spine, pulls your strings, makes you marionettes of its thirst. And God help you if you see its face, because that means you're next on tap. Ava sees it in the mirror behind the bar, towering, faceless, dripping black liquid into every bottle of whiskey like a parasite feeding a hive. Her breath catches. Liam doesn't see it, because it's already inside him. 5. The escape. Ava grabs Liam's hand, dragging him toward the door. Bodies thrash around them. The music from the jukebox warps, becoming guttural chanting. A possessed student crawls on all fours, growling as he tries to bite someone's ankle. Another slams his head repeatedly into the wall, screaming about being so thirsty. Ava didn't know what they were running from. Only that every second in that bar was another chance to die, or worse, another chance to drink. They burst into the cold night air, stumbling onto the wet pavement. Sirens wail in the distance, but they sound wrong, distant, as if muffled by fog that wasn't there before. The iron tap door slams shut on its own behind them, neon sign flickering out completely. Ava panting. What the hell was that, Liam? That wasn't just booze. People were... Come back. 6. The infection spreads cut to other bars in Redford. Students drink shots of the same Crimson Barrel whiskey. Their laughs twist into screams. Street fights erupt under flickering streetlights. A girl staggers into traffic, blood dripping from her mouth, as if she's been biting someone. Police sirens wail but quickly cut off, replaced by distorted screaming through radios. Redford was built on the promise of a good time. A little liquid courage, a few bad decisions you could laugh about later. But tonight, every glass was a bullet. Every drinker a loaded gun. Montage of chaos. Shattered glass, blood pooling on sidewalks, the Wraith's shadow towering over the town like a storm cloud. 7. Ava's desperation. Ava drags Liam into an alley, hiding behind dumpsters as footsteps approach. 2 possessed students stumble past, laughing manically, covered in blood. Ava shaking Liam. Listen to me. Liam, teeth grinding, voice distorting. You don't get it feels so good. I don't feel empty anymore. I could drink the whole world dry, and there it is, the Wraith's greatest trick. It doesn't just kill you, it makes you want it. Makes you think the hunger is yours, not its leash tightening round your soul. Liam slams his fist into the wall, veins bulging black under his skin. Ava holds back tears, terrified. 8. A town lost wide aerial shot of Redford. Fires burn outside bars. Sirens wail, people fight, bleed, howl at the moon like lunatics. The shadow of the Wraith stretches over the town, towering, hands dripping black sludge that rains onto rooftops. This was no drunken brawl. This was a ritual, centuries in the making. Every bottle of Crimson Barrel uncorked a new doorway, every sip another sacrifice. And the Wraith, it was just getting started. Close on Liam's face in the alley, his pupils glowing faint amber. His hand twitches, reaching for an imaginary glass. Ava watches, realizing she's losing him. Somewhere, faintly, the sound of a cork popping echoes again, like a toast to the end of the world. The first night, it feeds on your thirst. The second, it feeds on your soul. And Redford's already drunk. Fade to black. Low, guttural laugh under the sound of pouring whiskey. Whiskey's Wraith to Whiskey Wraiths. The last round open on static screen. The sound of pouring whiskey echoes, blending into a low, guttural chant. They say every bottle tells a story. But what if it's not a story? It's a curse, and the last chapter's already written in blood. Visual: the moon hangs over Redford, swollen and red like an infected wound. Streets reek of spilled liquor and iron. Sirens wail, but cut off suddenly, replaced by laughter that's not entirely human. Ava's mission: Ava walks through the empty street, clutching a bloodied bar towel wrapped round her knuckles. Liam stumbles beside her, twitching, whispering to himself. Ava wasn't looking for a way out anymore. Not for her. For Liam, for whatever was left of him. But the Wraith doesn't let go easy. It drinks you slow, sip by sip. They approach an old, boarded-up distillery at the far end of town. The faded sign reads, Redford Spirits, EST, 1876. The windows are blacked out. Yet faint orange light flickers inside, accompanied by distant chanting. Liam weak, shaking. I know this place. I've been here before. In my dreams, in the bottle. Ava, you're not dreaming. Liam, we're ending this, whatever this is. 2. The lore of the Wraith. As they creep closer, the whispers grow louder. Ghostly figures flicker in the corners of the street. Former drinkers, their throats slit, whiskey spilling from their mouths instead of blood. The Wraith isn't new, no. It was born in fire and greed, when the first distiller spilled blood in the mash, swearing a deal to make his whiskey taste like heaven and sell like sin. Visual: a spectral flash of the 1800s men around a distillery vat. A desperate farmer cuts his own palm, bleeding, into the barrel. A shadowy figure appears, skeletal, wooden-faced, promising wealth in exchange for just a little more blood. And every bottle since has been brewed with that hunger. Every sip a signature on the same deal. Drink long enough, and you don't belong to yourself anymore. 3. Inside the distillery vigil, the doors creak open. The air inside is thick, humid, smelling of oak, rot, and death. Candles line massive wooden vats leaking black sludge. Empty whiskey bottles hang from the ceiling on hooks, spinning slowly like charms. Ava whispering, "This isn't a distillery, it's a slaughterhouse." They step over dried bloodstains, claw marks on the floor. A massive figure looms in the shadows. The Wraith itself, now fully corporeal. Its form is a twisted blend of man and barrel, wood fused with bone, chest caved in like a broken cask, eyes glowing molten amber. Its jaw creaks when it speaks. Wraith, deep, rattling voice. Drinkers die, lovers cry, but the thirst never ends. Liam in agony, clutching his head. It's inside me, pulling me to it for the ritual room. They are dragged mentally, almost hypnotically, toward a giant copper still glowing with an unnatural fire. Inside, a thick, blood-tinged whiskey churns, faces of the damned floating beneath the surface. The Wraith doesn't kill because it can. It kills because it's building something. A kingdom of thirst, where every soul is a drop in its endless barrel. Ava shaking Liam. "Fight it, you're stronger than this." Liam, eyes blazing amber, voice layered. "I'm so thirsty. Ava, please. Just let me drink." He reaches toward a floating bottle on an altar. Ava slaps it away, glass shattering. The Wraith screams, a sound like cracking wood and roaring fire, shaking the entire building. 5. The confrontation. The Wraith steps forward, towering over Ava. Its wooden fingers stretch like roots, dripping black liquid. Wraith mocking, deep, "You can't save him. You can't save anyone. My mark's already carved in his bones." Ava defiant, shaking. "You're just a parasite. a lie in a bottle. You don't get to win tonight. But courage doesn't stop monsters born from man's own thirst. Courage only buys you one more round. The Wraith lunges. Ava grabs a rusted crowbar from the floor, swinging with every ounce of rage and terror she has. The blow connects, splintering its wooden skull, but it only laughs, black sludge spraying like tar. 6. The possession deepens. Liam collapses, convulsing, eyes rolling back. Black veins crawl up his neck. His mouth opens and the Wraith's whisper speaks through him. Wraith through Liam. Guttural, he's mine now. Every drop, every breath, every scream, all mine. Ava drops to her knees beside him, sobbing, trying to hold him as his body jerks unnaturally. Ava, no, no, Liam, don't let it take you. Stay with me, please. But the thing about the Wraith's whiskey, once you taste it, it's not a drink anymore. It's a promise. And promises this old don't break easy. 7. Setting the distillery ablaze. Ava notices a lantern near the still. She grabs it, throwing it into the churning whiskey. Flames erupt, orange and sickly green, licking up the walls as bottles shatter overhead, raining fire and glass. Wraith screeching, reeling back. No, you'll burn with me. Ava dragging Liam toward the exit. Then we burn together, you son of a... The fire spreads fast. The Wraith howls, its barrel chest cracking, leaking rivers of black liquid that ignite on contact. The entire distillery becomes an inferno. 8. Escape. Or so it seems. Ava hauls Liam out into the street as the building collapses behind them, flames devouring the sky. She collapses on the asphalt, holding him close as he coughs violently, the amber glow fading from his eyes. Liam weak, whispering, Ava, is it over? Ava sobbing, rocking him. Yeah, baby, it's over. But fire doesn't cleanse everything. Some spirits don't burn, they just change bottles. Visual in the burning ruins, a single, unbroken whiskey bottle rolls out of the flames, stopping at the feet of a stranger in the crowd. The cork pops by itself. A faint laugh echoes. Redford thought it was just another night of bad decisions. But the Wraith knows better. There's always another round. Fade to black. The sound of whiskey pouring blends into a heartbeat, then silence.